Hi, my name is Mark, and today I'd like to tell you more about The Fall of Lumen, a game I got for review by Twoid Games. Thanks for sending it. I have already did an unboxing video on my channel. Watch it if you haven't seen it already. And Fall of Lumen is a Euro game for 1 to 4 players, a fantasy-themed game where we want to make the citadel of Lumen fall. We will place different sabotages and infiltrators in the citadel, and we will try to defeat it. This game has got deck building elements and tableau building elements. There's a lot of going on. In a second I will show you more or less, I will tell you how the game plays, and then I will tell you my opinion on this game. This is how Fall of Lumen looks like during the game. The main part of the game is the board. Here you can see two boards because the board is divided into two parts. This is the main board with the area where the game takes place. You will move your hero through different regions and perform different actions depending where your hero is located. And the second board is the Lumen board, the flying citadel of Lumen that you have to destroy or you have to make Lumen fall. It's divided, and it's a good idea that the board is divided in two pieces because you can arrange the board however you like on your table. Especially if you play solo, it's convenient because normally this board should be on the top, but if you play alone, it's hard to reach through the whole board, so you can arrange it as you want. There are some other components that didn't fit in my camera. I will show you them in a second. But the main goal of the game is to place your agents in the citadel of Lumen. Your agents look like this, and you will place those agents in 5 different districts. Each district has got 3 windows, and you place your agents in one of the windows that you want by performing a specific action in the game, and then you will get a bonus depending in which window you placed your agent. Placing agents in Lumen is the main goal of the game and is the main source of getting victory points. It is not a point salad type of game that whatever you do will give you points. In this game, the main goal is to place your agents in Lumen. To place your agents, you need keepers, and there are some keepers kept in the prison in Lumen, and you have an ability to free them during the game. Because anytime if you want to place an agent in Lumen, you need to discard a keeper that you have. And you also can find keepers by completing different challenges that are located in different areas of the map. And if you complete those challenges, there will be an option to get keepers from outer worlds and additional areas, and then you will have the keepers to place them in the citadel as agents. So this is the main goal of the game. Apart from agents, you will get points for keepers that you have gathered but didn't spend, and for patrols that are around the board. These are patrols of Lumen, and you have an option to defeat those patrols. You can spend them to get to free keepers from the prison, but if you don't spend the patrols, you will also get some points for them when the game ends. But that's basically it. You can see different cards and different deck of cards. This is a deck building game, tableau building game, and getting different cards is one of the main mechanics of the game. One board that didn't fit in the camera is this board with follower cards. And you can get followers by getting to one of the regions and doing the acquire action and paying resources, but here you have 3 stacks of followers that you can get during the game. So this additional type of cards, it didn't fit in the frame. And you also get this player board. Each player gets a board in player's color. Here you have place for your deck of cards. Here is space for your discard. Below your player board you will place follower cards and trinket cards that you can acquire during the game. You can have 3 followers and 3 trinkets. And here you have a round summary, some information how you can trade resources, short summary of some of the actions. So this is what each player gets in the game, and here you will keep your deck of cards and followers and trinkets. Each player, when the game starts, needs to choose a hero and a faction. If you haven't seen my unboxing video of Fall of Lumen, you should watch it, because you will see how many different cards are in the game. At the start of the game you have 2 heroes to choose from and 2 factions to choose from, but the faction deck and hero deck is really so thick. There are, I don't know, a lot of cards. Each hero and faction gives you some special abilities that you will be able to trigger during your turn. Each hero gives you some starting resources or skills that you start each round with, and they give you some starting bonuses depending on which hero you choose and depending on which path you choose, because each faction has got 2 paths and each hero as well. So a lot of variety in the game. So you have your hero, you have your faction, you have some starting cards. You will also have a mission. You get 3 missions at the start of the game. You have to choose one, and the mission is like an additional card that you can like complete or fulfill. If you fulfill the requirement of your mission card, you can play it, and then you can get the bonus depicted on the card. You start the game with some basic cards. Each player has got some basic cards like the Pathfinder or Cantrip or Market Day. Then each player will get additional gift cards that you also get 4 of them, and you have to choose 2 of them, so it has variety. But during the game you will acquire more and more cards from the decks that are placed here on the table. There are different decks of cards. There are the followers that didn't fit on the table. There are trinkets, here are traits, here are spells, and here are artifacts, so different cards. Each type of card costs different resources. In the game you have 5 different resources. They have their names, I don't remember all of them. The blue one is like mana, and this one is mithril, and you have dark matter, the red one, and you have Genasi, the green one, and gold. Sorry if I mislabeled them, but there are a lot of different names in the game and it's hard to remember everything. But basically you have 5 different resources, and those resources are usually spent to buy different cards, because to buy trinkets you have to pay mithril, to buy spells you need mana, to buy artifacts you need dark matter, to buy the trade cards you need gold, and to buy followers you need the green one, Genasi. But apart from the 5 different resources, there are 5 different types of skills, and they also have their name, like this is deception, and this is wit, and wizardry, and fight, and this is voice, like this is a wild skill that you can use instead of any of those. So you have 5 different skills, and usually you pay skills to perform various actions, like you need skills to complete challenges, you need skills to do the gathering action on the board, and sometimes you need skills to capture the patrols that are here around the board. So you have skills and you have resources. Usually resources you pay for cards, and you use skills to perform different actions. But basically you have 10 different resources that you have to manage, you have to swap, you have to use to trigger some actions, to perform different actions, to get cards, and etc. The whole game of Fall of Lumen lasts for 6 rounds. You have this, let me show you, you have this deck of cards, and you construct this deck of cards at the start of the game. You have to place 4 basic round cards, 2 more advanced round cards, and some additional cards that trigger some special effects on the table, but basically you have 6 rounds. At the end of each round you will reveal 1 card, you perform what the card says. It will basically move the flying citadel of Lumen to other region. It will refresh one of the market of the cards, so you will discard the top cards and reveal new cards. The card will tell you where to place additional patrols on the board, and the card will tell you also where Lumen wants to place their agents in those districts on the Lumen board. And this deck of cards is like a timer, and when it runs out of cards, it's the end of the game. So you will play only 6 rounds, and during the 6 rounds you have to get the best card that you can into your deck or into your tableau, and free the keepers or acquire new keepers from the outer lands, and to place as many agents as you can in the 5 districts of the citadel. Each round, there are 6 rounds, you will play turns, and normally you play 1 turn and then another player plays their turn. There are no fixed number of rounds. There are 6 rounds, but there are no fixed number of turns in a round, because the number of turns depends on the things that you want to do. There are different actions that you can take, and even though every player starts each round with 5 cards in their hand, as in all deck building games, some cards allow you to draw more cards or to perform different actions, so the number of turns for each player will vary each round. You have your cards, and some of the cards or some of the tokens in the game, because for example there are the chest tokens that you can get by defeating patrols, they have this lightning symbol. And some of the actions on cards also have this lightning symbol. And this is like an action that you can, flash action that you can perform how many times you want. It means that you can perform the flash action, the number of cards you have or the number of tokens you have. For each card you can use this card, discard this card to perform the flash action. This is not an action in your turn. This is like a flash action, a bonus action that you can perform. After you perform all your flash action, then you can perform 1 main action, and this is the end of your turn. And then the next player plays, and the next, and then you again. Then again you can perform as many flash actions as you want, and then the main action, and it continues until all players choose to pass. And what action you can do in the game? As I said, most of the actions depend on the location of your hero here on the board. Because as you can see, you have different regions, and different regions are connected to different market cards, to different challenges, in some regions you have the patrols, in some you don't. There is this flying citadel of Lumen moving around the board during the game. So the action that you want to take depends on your location. But basically, you can gather. Each region has got this gather action printed here, and it means that you have to spend a specific skill token to get what it says. And each gather action allows you to make 3 exchanges. So like if I am here in, let's say, Rotam, I can spend 1 fight token to get 1 mithril, I can spend 2, or I can spend 3 tokens to get 3 mithrils. So I can do the gather action 3 times as 1 action. Then you can solve a challenge. If you are in a region that is connected to a challenge card, you can spend the required skills that you have, and then you can finish this challenge, complete this challenge. You will get a reward, and then you will reveal another challenge. There are always 3 challenges in each stack. They have different difficulty. If you manage to complete the last 3rd challenge in a stack, then you can choose one of the outer worlds, you can reveal it, you can place it on the board, and then you will place a specific number of keepers on this outer world card. And this is a second way to get keepers. One is to get them from the prison, and one is to get them from the outer regions. But in order to reveal one of those cards, you have to complete the 3 challenges that are on the board. So the second action, one is gather, the second one is solve a challenge. If you're in a region with a challenge, you can solve it. Then you can play a card. As I said, some cards have this flash action here, but some cards have a regular action. So you can, as your main action, play a card and perform what it says on the card. So this is the third action. The fourth action is that you can move. You can move up to 3 regions. They are connected with arrows here. And to move from one region to another, you have to pay 1 gold. So you can pay 3 gold to move, for example, 1, 2, and 3 here, for example. So you can move. The fifth action is acquire. In each different regions are connected to different card markets. For example, Aria and Nimali are connected to this market. And if you are here, you can pay the required resources to get one of the cards that are displayed in the market. Here you pay with mana, here you pay with dark matter, here with mithril, and here with gold, and here in Gonmar you pay with the green Genazi to get the followers. So this is an easy action. You pay the required resources and you take the card that you want and you add it to your hand. This is cool in this game, but you do not add resources to your discard pile, but you get it straight to your hand and you can play this card in your following turn. You don't have to wait until the round ends and you will reshuffle your deck. You get the card that you buy straight away into your hand. Another action is to infiltrate the citadel. You need to be in the location where the citadel is located. If you are, you can discard one of the keepers. You need to have one. Then you have to pay specific resources. Each district here shows which resources you have to pay. And you place one of your agents in required window and you will get the bonus. Some of the bonuses you will get straight away when you place the agent. You get the bonus and that's it. And some bonuses, like all the middle ones, are bonuses that you will get at the start of each round, like a passive bonus. So you can infiltrate the citadel, and this is important action because you get victory points from your agent here when the game ends. Then you can catch a patrol. You have patrols. If you're in a region with a patrol, you can either pay wizardry or fight or wit. There is this short summary that tells you which skills you have to pay in order to capture a patrol. You will take the patrol token into your play area. Then you can, with another action, exchange those 3 patrols for one of the keepers kept in prison. Anytime you capture a patrol, you get 1 bounty cards, and they are not really fun because if you get 3 of the bounty cards, you will discard them and you will get the Lumen's Eye card. And this is a bad card because it gives you negative points at the end of the game, but it stays in your deck of cards, but it gives you nothing, no actions, anything. You only can discard it for the resources shown here, but basically this card only stays in your deck of cards and does nothing. You can discard those cards later in the game by doing some actions, but getting Lumen's Eye card is nothing good. One thing I forget to tell you is that apart from using an action card to perform an action or a flash action, you can always discard a card to gain the resources depicted in the top left corner. So this is one way to get skill tokens, is to discard the cards. But if you choose to discard a card for the token here, you will not be able to play the action of this card because it will be discarded. So you can capture a patrol or you can pass. So basically those are all the actions, and they are not very complicated because depending on the location you can gather, you can solve a challenge, you can play a card, you can acquire a new card, infiltrate the citadel or capture a patrol. The complicated part of the game is that you have only 6 rounds to place as many agents as you want, but you also have 10 different resources, 5 resources and 5 skills that are required to do different things, and managing those resources, gathering the specific resources that you need at specific points in the game is the difficult part of the game. Some of the cards, like the spells and the traits and artifacts, they go into your deck, but cards like trinkets, like the items that you get in the game, or the follower cards that you also can buy, they go into your tableau, and you will not put them into your deck, but you will place them under your player board, and they will stay there until the end of the game. And followers and trinkets are cool because you always have them below your player board. You can use them once in a round, then you have to flip them by 90 degrees, but they will be flipped back again at the start of each round, so they will refresh, and you can use them basically each round because all the other cards are in your deck and you never know which cards you will draw in your round. So the followers and trinkets are cool because they always stay below your player board. And this is how the game plays. When you want to pass, you have no more action to play. You choose one of the bonuses for the given round. If all players pass, you will reveal one of the round cards. You will add more patrols, you will move Lumen, you will refresh one of the markets, and then you will play another round. At the start of each round, each player takes new cards until you have 5 in your hand. At the start of each round, you also get the skills depicted on your player card. You get any passive bonuses that are on the Lumen board, and you start your round and you play again your turn, then other players, and so on. After 6 rounds, you will score your points. Most points you get for the, as I said, for the agents in the citadel. If you have unspent keepers or unspent patrols, you get some additional points, and that's it. And this is the main game. If you want to play this game solo, it plays more or less the same, because even though normally the game is kind of competitive because you compete with other players and the player with most victory points wins the game, you don't interact directly with each other because all the players are the guerrillas and the forces that want to defeat the evil Lumen citadel. So you in a way work for the same, you can say, faction. So if you play solo, you are the only player. You don't compete with other players, but in order to win the game, you need to place 8 agents in the citadel before the game ends. This top district in solo mode shows you which agents you need in what type of district. If you manage to place 8 agents, you win the game. You lose the game if you don't place 8 agents, and in the solo mode, the number of Lumen's eye card is limited to 7. If at any point the deck runs out of cards, you will also lose the game. And you also have only 6 rounds during the whole game to place 8 agents in the citadel. It's very difficult to win, even though there are different difficulty levels. Even if you choose the easiest one, it's very difficult to place 8 agents during 6 rounds of the game, so this is quite challenging solo mode. There is also a cooperative mode. 2 players just cooperate together. They have to place agents in the citadel. Each player needs 8 agents, and you need to, in order to win the game. So you can play competitive mode, you can play solo mode, you can play co-op mode. And additionally, there are some other modules that you can use in the game, because there are some scenarios that you can use in the game that change the game a little. The main board of the game has a second side, so you can flip the main board during setup, and you have a different layout, different regions. There is one big void region in the middle that changes the rule as well. So there are different modules and different ways to play the game. Each deck of cards, each deck of cards and heroes and factions is very thick. There are a lot of cards, so each time you play the game it will look different. But basically this is how you play Fall of Lumen. Let's wrap it up. Now you know more or less how to play Fall of Lumen. Let me tell you what I think about this game. The first thing that I really like is that the rules are not that complicated. You may have a different opinion by watching the video, because it took me like 20 minutes to explain to you how to play the game. But basically the game is not that complex. You move your hero to different regions, and depending on the region you can get new cards, complete the challenge, maybe fight the patrol or gather some resources, and that's basically it. It's not that complex. It's complex because it's got a lot of cards, a lot of different cards, and you can create a lot of combos, and you can create your small engine. and where different cards will interact with each other. You have 10 different resources that you have to manage in order to do actions in the game. So this game is quite deep and complex in terms of strategy, but it's not complicated in terms of rules, and this is what I really like about board games. Not that I don't like games that are complicated and have a lot of rules, because I play those games as well, but I like games that give me a lot of strategy and different options, but are not that complicated in terms of learning them from the rulebook. The replayability in this game is awesome. You have so many different cards and factions and heroes, and the board is double-sided. You have scenarios and different districts in the Citadel. They are also double-sided. So this is a very replayable game, and I think that each time you play the game, it will give you some new things to discover, even though the main goal is always the same, placing agents in the Citadel, but you have different ways, different cards, and different strategies, so this is really, really cool. I like how the game looks. I know this is a Euro game, a dry Euro game where you will gather resources and you will manage those resources, and then you will score victory points, but I have to say that thanks to all the artwork and the meeples and how the game looks, and you have small text on all the cards that gives you some stories from the Fall of Lumen universe. This is really cool, and even though I'm playing a Euro game, it gives you an adventure vibe a little. This is cool. The solo mode is interesting. As I said earlier, the game is, even though it's competitive, you don't basically play against each other, because all players want the same thing, to defeat the Citadel and to place agents. So you compete with other players with scores and with points, but you don't interact with each other. That's why the solo mode plays quite well, because it doesn't change the rules, apart from the fact that you have to place 8 agents in the Citadel and you have to be careful not to run out of Lumen's eye cards. The rules are the same. The disadvantage for me is that the solo mode is very, very difficult and very, very challenging, even on the easiest mode that is in the rulebook. I like difficult and challenging games, but I have not won this game even once for now. So I think this is quite challenging, and if you don't like difficult Euro games and if you don't like losing, maybe the solo mode in this one is not exactly for you. But overall, I had a lot of fun playing this game, and even the solo mode, and even that I didn't win, was quite fun with all the cards and different combos and different options that you have here. The thing is just that when you play solo, you just have to focus on your goal, like placing the 8 agents in the Citadel. I think that if you play multiplayer, the game is more open, you have different options and different paths, and you can try different strategies. In the solo, you have to focus on getting followers and trinkets as soon as you can, because they stay in the game in your player area for the rest of the game, and then you have to hurry up, because you have 6 rounds to place all those agents. So I think the solo mode is more about optimizing each round, and the multiplayer game is like gives you more freedom, which is nice. But overall, this is a fun game, and game for Twoid Games, from Twoid Games. I think it's another big company, quite independent one. It's the second game they did, I think, Fall of Lumen now and Legends of Void before this one. So quite a nice game for a new publisher. A lot of people say that this game reminds them of Lost Ruins of Arnak, and I have to agree in a way, because there are some similar components. Here you have challenges, there you had the archaeological stations and different monsters in Arnak. Here you have cards, there you had cards, here you have deck building elements, and in Arnak you had deck building elements. But overall, I still think that this game plays a little different. You have only one goal that you have to focus on. It's not a point sell-up type of game, and I think it's more complex. You have more resources and more different types of cards. So I think that if you liked the Lost Ruins of Arnak, the overall gameplay, you should try Fall of Lumen, because you will like it. If you didn't like Lost Ruins of Arnak, you should still try this game, because it may You may like it much more than Arnak, but cool game, fun game. I still plan to play the game solo and win one day. I hope I will win. But I have a lot of fun playing this game, and I think this game is still available on GameFound because they have this open manager, but the pledge manager, but the pledge manager is still open, I think. So you can get this game and the previous game still on GameFound. So if you're interested, check it out. That's it for now. Thanks for watching the video. Click the like button if you like it. Subscribe to my channel. You can visit me on social media. I have Instagram profile, Facebook, and Twitter and everything. So you will find links in the description of the video as well. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye.